Yeah, so did you guys came to my show at the Criterion? A lot of you? Yeah, and we sold that sucker out 700 seats. I sold that sucker out. Me and my boy that's coming to the stage now. One of my favorite dudes in the game. I love this dude. This dude keeps it so damn real. He's one of my favorite comics, period. A lot of you guys sit there and watch the Kevin Harts and all this shit on Netflix and not realizing there's so many comedians out here that's funny as hell and probably could get on Netflix and just murder that shit. That's the dudes I fuck with. That's the dudes I love. So this dude I'm bringing to the stage right now. One of my favorite comics, one of my boys. I love him to death. Ladies and gentlemen, show my love for my man, Matty J. Show Matty J some love. Where you at, Matty? Matty! Matty! Matty!
Such kind words. He threatened me with a lawsuit if this doesn't go well. He's not that nice. I don't know if you guys saw the flyer or not, but this is pretty fucking cool for me. I'm not usually the ethnic diversity of the show. It's kind of a privileged position tonight, a little bit. So I don't know, some of you guys may have seen me at the Criterion, and I apologize. But thank you for coming back. No, I love the comedy game. I love doing shows with Carl. A lot of people say, like, oh, you shouldn't follow Carl. Like, he's really good. How do you follow Carl? And I'm like, I could suck after following that guy. I could just tell my life stories, and people are like, yeah, he's Carl's friend. Clap for him. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about, a lot of stuff is changing. And I know this coming week there's going to be some big changes. There's lockdowns and everything on the horizon. And so thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you for coming out here, risking your life and limb. And mostly thank you for treating yourself. I mean, that's what you're doing when you come out to comedy. You have a shitty week. You want to come out, laugh a little bit, forget about your problems, right? Think about my problems, Carl's problems. But what you're doing is you're treating yourself. This is fucking self-care. When you come out to comedy, it's self-care. And like, if you hear me tonight, at any point in time, if you hear me say the word treat yourself, I want you to help me out and follow it up by motherfucker. It goes a little something like this. Treat yourself. Exactly. Treat yourself. Back at the bar. That's right. All right. Now that we're on the same team, I like this. I like this. It's important you treat yourself to little things in life. You know, like come back an hour late from lunch. You know, have that extra half a spoon of heroin. Whatever it is. Treat yourself. Do a little something extra. You know? Thank you. See, my people in the corner. Oh, they follow directions so well. I don't know. I was thinking about treating myself to a makeover, right? Because I'm getting older. And when you get older, the only real makeover you can do is like the beard, which I've started the beard. It's going okay. You know, it's here. It's a nice reminder of what my pubes might look like if I grew them out. If anybody ever wondered what it was like in medieval times, take a look at any dude's beard walking through the mall. You'd be like, oh, I wish that he hadn't told me that, because now... And I love doing that joke because there's always 2 or 3 people in the audience that look right at my crotch as soon as I do it. I'm like, I saw you. Yeah. He thought I was pointing to his wife. I wasn't. I was pointing to him. Yeah, that's right. No, so I thought I was going to treat myself. I wanted to do something nice, and some friends of mine were like, well, man, you're at the age where you could have a midlife crisis. So I was like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. That's fun, right? But you hear about the midlife crisis, and it's always like, you know, this guy buys a sports car, and he starts dating a model, and I'm looking at my bank account. I'm like, the best I could hope for is, like, I could get a new skateboard and a case of White Claw. You know what I mean? I could have a wild weekend. I'd be like that Mexican dude on the skateboard to Fleetwood Mac, except I'll be like listening to Lamb of God, trashed as fuck, like crashing with the case of White Claw and spilling most of it. But I said, like, what do you do? You know, like, okay, so if I have a midlife crisis, I guess I got to start acting my age afterwards, you know? So, like, what do you do? What do you do? And he goes, well, like, how old do you feel? And I go, don't give me any of that shit. Because when I turned 40, I told everybody I was halfway to 80. It's a fun game. I suggest you try it out. Oh, how old are you going to be next year? Oh, halfway to 106. What? So, like, I don't believe that, like, you're whatever age you feel. Like, sometimes I feel 80 on Monday. And then by Friday, I'm like 13, you know what I mean? So, like, I don't buy that whole, it's like, what age do I feel today? Like, sometimes being a senior is awesome. You know? Nobody expects shit from you. So I'm like, oh, well, what do you do? And he goes, well, me and some friends, we got metal detectors. And we go, you're right, they've heard of it. And they go to, like, down to the lake, you know, in late summer when the water level drops, and they're, like, hunting for treasure. They're like, yeah, man, I take my dog and my metal detector, and we just get out, you know, into nature, and sometimes I find some pretty cool stuff. And I'm like, oh, what'd you find? And he's like, oh, I got a Zippo lighter, you know, from World War II. And then I got some commemorative coins, and I found a wedding ring once, and I was like, oh, that's cool. He goes, no, it's cubic zirconium. I'm like, so how much did you pay for this metal detector? He's like, well, they're like $1,200, you know, you can get into them pretty cheap. And I'm like, 12 fucking, did you not hear the skateboard and the White Claw thing? Like, I want to treat myself. Thank you. See, I waited. But not that much, right? So I'm like, you know, plus that sounds gay to me. Like, I'm not to use gay in that way, but gay in the way of, like, no one understands it, you know, and no one's accepting it. Like, why? Why go? Like, what's the... And so he's like, just try it. And I'm like, no. I'm not going to do that. And then I'm thinking about it later, and I was trying to come up with, like, a more cost-effective way to do the same thing. So I called the Humane Society, and as it turns out, they have these retired police dogs that used to be like drug sniffing dogs, right? And you can pick them up for like 30, 40 bucks with the adoption paperwork. And the treasures that we have been finding, like, I just walk him downtown, like any of these blocks within 3 or 4 mile radius of right here, just walk him down to like every set of bushes, he's pulling out like crack pipes and 8 balls and ounces of weed. It's amazing. The dog paid for himself the first day. I went out and bought 2 metal detectors. You know, I have the money now. I do. I think people are weird about pets. I think people are. Like, there's sort of a lot of division in this country right now, and I miss the day when the division used to be the cat and the dog people. That was like the most contentious division that we had for a while. And I do miss the cat and the dog people because I think it's a character thing. Right, and I took this, like, when I was dating a lot, I took this to heart too, because if I'm dating like a dog person, it's really easy to keep them happy, right? What if dog people? Maybe not them. They're little dog people. Yeah, that's right. I've been doing this a while. Yeah, we'll get to you and your kind. But if you're dating a dog person, it's great because what do they like? Obedience, order. They like schedules, like it's always going to be Friday at 4 that we go to the dog park, right? And they want you to check in. Like if they let you out, they want you to check in every once in a while so they can see, oh, he's good. I see him. He's good. Right? If you're lucky enough to date a cat person, it's awesome because they don't give a fuck about you. They don't care at all. A cat person hopes you stay out all night, and they don't want that phone call because they're sleeping. You know, like, don't wake me up unless you're in jail, you inconsiderate dickhead. But you gotta watch it. You date a cat person, you piss them off, they'll shit in your shoe. I dated an Ashlander once. I know, feel sorry for me, you should. Turns out that's the only reason you should ever smudge your house is if you've dated someone from Ashland. Just get that energy the fuck out as soon as possible, as soon as that's over. Because, you know, she was vegan, and this is a house of bacon, okay? Like, we worship at the temple of pork here. Dating is hard, man. Dating online is even harder. It's really, like, have you noticed the difference between people that are on these, the difference between the different platforms, like the level of people that you get on certain platforms? And you can ask any woman that's been on several platforms, and they all, settle down, little dogs. Always so yappy. Don't make me milk your anal glands. Yeah, it just became a Matty J show just now. Welcome aboard, people. But I got to thinking about it even more. So you got cat people, you got dog people, and it's different emotions, right? Would anyone have cared if Michael Vick had had a cat fighting ring? No. Right. And no, no one would care. If anything, we would go. We would want tickets, and I know why. I know why we don't care. I know why we want tickets. Because dogs, intrinsically, built to love. put on this planet to love. It takes a lot to make a dog turn evil most of the time. Those little outfits are one of the things. So I'm speaking on behalf of all dogs right now because I'm a cisgendered male, and that's what we do. We talk on behalf of people. So I'm thinking about it, and you know, you have to train a dog to hate, so you have to take that dog and make him hate other dogs, and eventually you build this vicious fighting dog, and it's awful, it's a horrific thing. But you take any two cats. You think you have to train them to hate? Nope. That shit's built right in, like the little Mercedes logo on the door when you open it up. That's already waiting for you. It's a surprise that comes later, like, oh fuck, my cat is full of hate. I didn't know, he was so cute. You take any two cats and you put them in a cage, ready to go, no training necessary. And I don't know, to me, like, the only thing that was surprising is that the bedding didn't go the way I wanted it to. You know what I mean? Like, I really thought Mr. Kibbles was gonna go all the way, and as it turns out, Princess just fucked him up, like, right away. And that was my 2-on-1. I was out for the night after this. So then I'm like, I could do that. I could run a cat fighting ring. Like after, the next day after, I'd be calling the Humane Society like, hello, yes, I need another 20. Calm down, 10 of them are gonna make it. It's tiered, they gotta come back and face other challengers. Oh, I am more of a cat person, but I love dog people, if that makes any kind of sense. I do. I'm like one of those weird cats that snuggles up to a dog and is like, I might die, this is fine. Pretty much all of my dating history is that way. I might die, this is fine. Again, don't hate Ashlanders, it's a thing. So, I'm noticing the different platforms are totally different, like when you look at Facebook dating, which everyone should. Here's the thing that you don't know about Facebook dating. It's like Walmart, it'll make you feel so much better about yourself. It really will. It really will. Even if you're in a couple, I recommend together you make this decision. Tonight you go home, you both sign up separately for dating profiles just so you can look through the people. Oh, you don't need a makeover. You'll look in the mirror the next day and be like, looking good. You'll do that towel thing where you like pull it down a little bit so you're showing some muscle. You're like, yeah, looking good. I do that sometimes. I have a shitty day. I have low self-esteem or whatever. I walk into a Walmart and I just realize I could fuck anybody in there. It's funny how your just confidence goes up. You're like, yes, any one of these people. Especially that greeter. She seemed really lonely. Plus, I do well with really older women. Yeah, there was a time when everyone's Nana was my Nana. I was like running around the nursing home. Oh, calm the fuck down. Until you've had a blowjob with no dentures in, then you come talk to me, okay? A toothless blowjob is greater than anything any of you women in this room have ever been able to do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Teeth are a handicap. It's the way it is. It's not my fault that God made mouths weird. I don't know what to tell you. You like the blowjob jokes. I like this crowd. Can I get your permission to get a little fucked up for a minute? Yeah. Some of you, you're tentative. I get that. I know what I look like. I get that. I'm going to start slow. Ease it in so that way it's not like too traumatic. Here's a couple jokes about rape. Say what you will about rape. It is the most effective safe word. It stops anything that's happening most of the time. But you have to use it with gusto. Like, no one's going to stop if you're like, rape. Rape.
Is this a conversation we're having?
It is. I have a room full of people laughing at a rape joke. And I'm a white male comic, let me point that out. This is what skill looks like. I can double it. I can make you laugh at another rape joke. This one's guaranteed. I've even had a woman come up after the show who told me she had been victimized of this bullshit. And then hugged me, and she said, thank you. I had not laughed about that subject in years. And this was the joke that did it. Don't you wish that rape whistles worked the same way as dog whistles? You just blew it and only rapists can hear it? Women, like when you're out at the bar, come on. Would that not be the most amazing thing ever? You're out at the bar, guys like, can I buy you a drink? You're like, hang on. It's like, what are you doing? You're like, just making sure you're safe. Just don't blow that whistle at the family reunion. Like a bunch of people, like I knew it. Fucking Uncle Freddie, I knew it. Him and his metal detector. That's a shitty callback. It's a very shitty callback. I'm gonna build it up. I'm also for abortion, but I'm for abortion past the stage of birth as well. In fact, my abortion only starts from birth forward, and here's the way it works. Don't give me that. Oh, I was aborted before. You weren't. You're here. It's by vote. If more than 30 people in the county that you live in vote for you to be aborted, legally, the county is required to take you out. You're off the island. We passed the torch. You're done. More than 30 people. But here's the way it works. So this is extended from the age of birth, because we've all had that shitty baby in the plane or the movie theater that we would have voted out. I'm sorry. We would have. You get frustrated enough, you'll vote that little fucker out. But it extends to the age, in my opinion, of 55. Okay? So if you fuck up hard enough, all the way up till 55, you're not safe. You could be taken out. But if you make it to 55 and no one's taking you out, you no longer have to follow rules. That's right. That is right. That is right. That's right. If you're at the family reunion and somebody blows a whistle and you look over, they just got to go, up, he made it to 55. I don't know. It's fine. He's earned it. Certain rapes would be excusable because they're earned. It's really become a Matty J show now. There's one instance where this is acceptable. It's in the animal kingdom. It's not what you're thinking. You thought I was going to say pedophiles. I know. You thought I was going there. No. If you can manage to rape a great white shark, I think you've earned it. Because first you'd have to find one. Right? You'd have to be a pretty good swimmer, brush up on your skills to sneak up on it, I imagine. I mean, it can't be that easy to sneak up. And then, without dying, you have to then, initiate the raping. Now, if you know anything about sharks, okay, they can't be still. So during the raping, you're going to have to move the shark back and forth so that the water can pass through its gills, because otherwise, that's necrophilia, and that's fucking gross. I'd just like to point out at this point in the show, you guys have treated yourself to some rape jokes, and you liked them. You did. You all laughed. You did. Tomorrow you won't talk about this section of the show, but you'll be like, he was good. What did he talk about? He talked about cats, dogs, and dating. So Facebook one is awful because people really don't try on Facebook. And here's why: because Facebook dating, it's absolutely free and it only takes 30 seconds to set up your profile. So it's where all the people that don't really want to date, but they kind of want to do that whole how's the water thing, Sign up though, please do. It's amazing. The photos people pick. The photos people tell themselves, this is the one. Now, To be fair, I also signed up as a woman. Because as a comic, I have to have perspective on both sides. I wanted to see what the men look like. And why does every 55 and up-year-old dude have the same profile shot? It's like half of his head is in it. The phone was maybe here, and they all look like this. Oh, I love it. I love it. And then like there's Bumble. Right now, Bumble that's one that the girls like. Because like, that's where women initiate all the contact, and you don't have to deal with creepers and etc. But you might not know that they make men pay for that. You can't see anything real on Bumble without paying a little something. And while I'm all for legalized prostitution, yeah, I'm sorry, men. If you've ever paid for a dating site, guess what? You bought access to a woman's time. So when the ballot measure inevitably comes up to legalize prostitution, I expect you to stand with me, brothers. Make a fucking difference for real. None of this OnlyFans fake bullshit. Real American prostitution. The way it used to be. You used to have a nice car. You had to have one. They wouldn't come to the window if you were in a shitty car, you know? I think that's half the reason people had lowriders back in the day. They didn't have to, you could like lean over far enough you can see down their shirt. That's why lowriders are low. Fun fact. Has nothing to do with style. But I thought about the dating sites. They're more like a hometown buffet. You guys ever gone to a hometown buffet? You're applauding. The little dog people love. Or you worked at Hometown Buffet. Those are the only two reasons that okay, there we go. Again, I've been doing this a while. But it's a lot like Hometown Buffet because it's the same thing happens, right? On these dating sites, you know, you sign up, you set up your profile, and it's time to browse. You're finally at the point where it's like, okay, this might be fun. And just like Hometown Buffet, you walk in, and the first thing you're thinking is like, wow, look at all the selection. There's literally everything here. Right. But just like Hometown Buffet, as you get closer and you look a little further into the little metal tubs of food, you do the same kind of thing. Like you walk up and you go like, that looks left out a while. A lot of people have had their hands in that one. Too spicy for me. Too bland for me. No, that's vegan. Oh, fuck that shit. That's the salad section. Is the vegans? That's dating an Ashlander. Is anybody from Ashland that's here tonight, by the way? Yay, no. I should ask before I tell the joke, but it's much funner the other way. And just like at Hometown Buffet, you get a little frustrated with the selection, so you're trying to find like anything that's gonna work, right? Like, please let me find something, some kind of sustenance. And then you look over at the dessert section, right? Because the dessert section never lets you down at Hometown. It's still shitty, but it's okay. The dessert section are the single moms. They're not going to let you down. You're always going to enjoy yourself. And chances are you're going to end up like smelling like milk a little bit and kind of sticky and with kids surrounding you, you know. Why do I do it over and over and over again? I have raised so many people's kids. None of which I get taken off of my taxes for. Yeah. I don't know what to think about it. So I started, I thought maybe I would date younger, right? I couldn't find anybody my age. I thought I'll date a younger person. And that's really weird. It's really weird to fuck a millennial. They keep taking selfies like partway through and shit. You know, like status updates like, oh, he's almost there. with a little coaching. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Somebody that's a little too young, you know. It's just really weird because, like, I worry about her. You know, she's a millennial, so obviously suicidal. And, you know, she's always... She's always surprised me, though, because she's so smart. Like, she told me that she was interested in archaeology, and I was like, wow, you don't hear that very often. You know, but then I'm thinking about it later. I'm like, oh, she means me. She's just digging up old bones and dusting them off. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's something of worth here. And then I did date older, much older women in the golden age, or the golden time of their life, as they say. Some people say women of a certain age. I say silver foxes. Silver foxes. Oh my God. Oh, you don't have to teach them anything. They know. They teach you things. Oh, it's so amazing to learn something in the bedroom after the age of 30. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Really? There's more? You date a silver fox, it's like fucking a whole new world. Don't you dare close your eyes. But older women like to be held after sex, so they can get in and out of the shower and they don't break a hip. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, no, it's all very, very true. It is. Unfortunately, I love lots of different women, not at the same time. Well, I did that once. Which, by the way, poly, you guys heard this? People are, you know, polyamorous now. They're in couples that agree, right? It's amazing, by the way, if you have a person in your life that's able to do that. And I, at one point in time, did have several people in my life that were interested in that, and it's fucking awesome, and a lot of people are freaked out by it. They're like, that's swinging. You're just swinging, and you're going to catch STDs. I'm like, it's very different from swinging, because swinging is like if we all just decided to fuck right now. No introduction. We're only here to fuck. Condoms come out, lube comes out, you know, they get pissed off because that's not what this night was supposed to be about. It's happened before in my shows, I'm sorry. It's a thing. But if we were poly, we'd have to meet up and we'd have to all like each other and go out and do regular things, and eventually if there's a connection, then we can start doing the other stuff, right? And so if you're still not on board with what this is, poly is like a timeshare for your genitals. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just certain times of the week or times of the month. You know, this belongs to Betty, right? Because she's prepaid with a cleaning deposit, and but she can trade it out with her friends. If she doesn't feel like going that week, she could have one of her friends come over and stay. Which is nice. It's like a gift, you know? Like, what are we going to get Susan? It's her birthday. Like, I don't know. She hasn't been laid in a long time. Like, give her my timeshare. Let her have a weekend. You know what I mean? And just like a timeshare, it's only complicated when two schedules conflict. You're like, but they booked first. I don't know what to tell you. It's really like first come, first serve. I don't know. But it's interesting. It's really interesting. And then I decided, I was like, okay, well, that was fun. You know, I did that. And then I got out of that. But my roommate, for the longest time, was still in it. So what that meant was I was a single guy, not dating anyone, living in a house where everyone was having sex except for me. It's interesting. It's a really interesting thing because, like, it's shameful enough if you watch a lot of pornography on your own. It's more shameful when you're watching it through your front window. And they won't let you in. Like, I paid my rent, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like that little cat in the rain, scratching like, meow, can I please? Oh, I got them back, though. I got them back so good. I did. I figured out ways to mess with the little orgies they would have. They had this thing called Google Home. It connects all the rooms. Like, there's different speakers, and like you can turn the lights different color. And so from any room in the house, you can command Google Home to do different things. And so I would wait until the middle of a very successful orgy, right when everything's going great. And I would be like, Okay, Google, play Air Supply, Volume 12. I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you. And like, everybody like, what the fuck? Like in the middle, like, I can't keep an erection to this. True story. I did it. Normally they would warn me, which you have to do in that kind of a situation because you can't just come out of your room for snacks, right? So if there was going to be a party, I would need to know so I could prepare and bring like the orgy kit into my room so I didn't die from it. And then I would have my snacks and I didn't have to do the awkward going outside, you know. And so one day they did not tell me. And I came home, and there was a towel on the door. And anybody that's ever lived in a college dorm knows if there's a sock or a towel on the door, exactly what that means. It means go in the other way. Like, don't go in the front because there's stuff happening. So I went in through the garage, and I was kind of pissed off about it because I'm like, that's fucked up to not tell me. Like, what if I was going to have, like, my mom stop by or something, you know, at that time? Granted, my mom could use a night of great fun. You know, I'm not trying to take that away from her. You know, I'm just saying, awkward for me. That's all. Like, go, mom, just not around me. Like, you know, I don't want to, like, we won't go any further with that. So I'm like, I need to do something. I need to teach them a lesson. So I ordered some delivery from like 3 or 4 different restaurants at 3 or 4 different times. And I didn't text anyone, and I didn't come out of my room when they rang the doorbell and knocked. So their little orgy got interrupted by like 6 different Uber Eats people coming in, like delivering chicken wings and pizza, and like they were really pissed off, and I'm like, you can't really be mad. I bought food for everybody at the end of the orgy, so go fuck yourself. I mean, you already did, but go fuck yourself metaphorically. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I'm a good person. It's a common thing when you're a man. You gotta check yourself. Like, am I being a good man? Am I being a good person? And part of the thing that's weird about being a man, and I think everybody in the room that's male or that identifies as being male will agree with this, is that sometimes the male brain, when you first meet a woman, whether you want it to or not, without any prompting, will show you what she might look like naked. Does that ever happen to you? Your brain has, like, you meet someone, whether you want, like, whether you're attracted or not, and like your mind goes like, that's what she might look like naked, and like gives you a little. Has that happened to you? Like right now? You're like, you laughed a little nervous and you pointed at me, so I'm like, yeah, I assure you my beard is only up here, sir. There is very clean. Yeah. So I almost lost my train of thought. I was very flattered. Thank you. So it happens whether you want it to or not, and sometimes it's with people who it should not be happening with. And the problem with that happening is not just that it happens, because obviously you could just push that out of your brain. But men do this little thing. They play this little game. It's called Would I? Now that I've seen her name, would I? The answer is very rarely no. That's the sad thing. Even when you think it should be no, like your brain's like probably, you're like, God, motherfucker. And then, if you answered no, the follow-up question is, could I? If someone had a gun to my head and the only way I was going to make it through the night was to give that woman an orgasm, could I pull through? Could I ignore all of my physical instincts and still get the job done? Sadly, the answer to that's almost always yes, too. It's a very shallow place to live. But women do the same thing, but you're way smarter because you add a third question. You do the same thing. You say, would I? Maybe. Like, you know, if he's a nice guy or whatever, could I? After a couple of beers, or if he buys me a small dog. The way to your vaginas are always through small dogs. I know how it works. I could sleep with you tonight with only 2 tiny outfits that I purchased from PetSmart. I know how this works. But she won't, because she will ask herself a third question. She'll ask herself, would I? Yes, he bought me pet outfits. Could I? Yes, he bought me pet outfits. But then women ask the smart question, which is, should I? That's something all us men need a little work on, because if we, at the bar at the end of the night, last call, if we were asking ourselves like that should I question, like half of us wouldn't have alimony right now. You know what I'm looking at you, Carl. Oh, yeah, I don't know. So when I ask myself that question, you know, would I, should I, could I? The problem with my dating history is it's always been, treat yourself. Thank you guys so much. I'm Matty J. I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Carl.
Keep it going for my dude. That's right. You know what's up.